Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
We woke to horrific news yesterday morning when we heard of the 10 people that lost their lives in the bus tragedy of the Hunter Valley up in the Wedding there on Sunday night. This was the call made from emergency services. This was the first responder onto the scene.
Major incident declared. We have a bus rollover. Multiple patients at this stage. I need all resources allocated to continue. I'm still trying to work out exactly how many patients I have here.
Still trying to get details, still trying to get answers. One man who is outside the Singleton police station where the bus driver is being held at the moment is Liam Tapper, Sunrise reporter, and he joins us now. Thanks for coming on the show, Liam.
My pleasure, Fitzy.
Liam.
Can you give us any updates, mate, on the bus driver? He has been charged. Any more details?
Yeah, he's been charged with a number of offences, some pretty serious charges as well. Overnight, he was charged with 10 offences of dangerous driving, occasioning death. Now, each one of those, they carry with them a maximum of 10 years imprisonment if he is found guilty, along with one charge of negligent driving, occasioning death. We know a bit more about the driver. Brett Andrew Button, he's a 58-year-old man from Maitland. He's an experienced driver working for this bus company. He would have known these roads. It wouldn't have been the first time you would have suspected he would have driven around that roundabout. But he will face court later this morning here in Cessnock. Just after 9 a.m, we're expecting him to face court on those serious charges.
Yeah, I've seen the front of the paper today, and of course it's come to light that some people have said that he was talking to the passengers on the bus while he was driving, and just moments before the accident occurred that he may have been revving up the passengers, saying that he could drive the bus faster. Do you know any information about that and whether it's actually true?
Yeah, Kate, it's still hard at the moment because it is in front of the court. So this is all just alleged evidence that's being put forward by key witnesses. But these are the accounts that are coming forward from people who are on the bus, those people who have miraculously survived this tragedy, one of the worst tragedies we've seen on New South Wales roads. These are the accounts that have been put forward, we understand, by two loved ones, but also to police. And if you could imagine, just try to put yourself on that bus. If you were hearing those alleged words from the bus driver, could you imagine how you were feeling at the time? And now, knowing what's tragically happened, those 10 people at this point have lost their lives. I guess that will all come out in court today when Button faces the magistrate, when he does stand in the dock and faces court. So we will hear more evidence. But if that is in fact true, then it's absolutely heartbreaking.
Liam, you've been up there. I just can't understand. The bride and groom were originally from Melbourne. There's a lot. So you would have family members that are making their way over to from Melbourne just to see if their loved ones are okay. It'd be such emotional scenes up there at the moment, Liam.
Yeah, Fitzy, we've spent a lot of time in different areas in the Hunter Valley. Yesterday I was at the hospital yesterday morning, and then I went out to the actual scene where there's now a flower vigil being set up as well. And now at the police station and you just get a sense of how this has sent shockwaves through so many people. Once you get to one layer, you get to another. The victims, then their families, then the community, the bus company, all of these people. And we know that, as you mentioned, the couple, they were high school sweethearts. They grew up down there in Victoria, moved to Singleton, which is a regional, and we all know what regional communities are like. We know how tight-knit they are. They wanted to start a new life in Singleton. Some of these people from Queensland, Byron Bay, as well, these victims who have been identified by New South Wales Police as well. This is going to last for weeks, months, if not years, this trauma, after what was meant to be Mitch and Maddie's most special day.
Yeah. The groom is a cricket player. I think they said the guest list involved members of his team. Was that from the area as well, or was that Melbourne-based?
So yeah, that was Warrandyte down there in Victoria. They've confirmed that Mitch was a cricket player there. He also they've confirmed too that there were members from the cricket club who were on that bus. So they're just absolutely shattered, you could imagine there. But he is part of the Singleton Roosters, an AFL club up here in the Hunter Valley, and a much-loved, I must say, from speaking to a few people in the community yesterday, he's a much-loved member of that community too, of that football club rather. And as I mentioned about the regional communities, we all know how much an important role sporting clubs play in these regional communities, and they're shattered. We saw some pictures from the Roosters Club yesterday. We saw also some pictures from Warrandyte too, and the community was coming together because I guess in these moments no one has any answers, but you have each other, and that's what these communities are certainly doing around Mitch and Maddie and those families at the moment. And
credit to the police and emergency services. I would imagine it would be your worst nightmare having to arrive at a scene such as that.
Oh, absolutely. And I must say a few things. I spoke to a police officer who left the Cessnock police station this morning, and I just said, mate, thank you for what you do. And he said, yesterday was one of the most traumatic scenes I've ever been faced with. And he was a seasoned officer. So if it hits someone like that, that hard, you kind of get a sense of the size of the tragedy. But also I spoke to a nurse yesterday. I was... call it fortunate, if you will. It's probably not the right word, but we were outside the hospital at changeover time, and that's when the nurses who were on the night shift, that's when they were finished. And I just an offhand comment to one of the nurses saying, "How are you doing?" And she said that was the hardest night of my life, and she looked absolutely shattered. She'd been crying just to see what she'd seen in that hospital. So, yeah, you think about the families, of course, you think about the community, but those first responders who had to be there on the scene yesterday and treat these people, it's just absolutely heartbreaking.
Well, hopefully these families get some more answers today. We know how busy you are, Liam. We appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on the show, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Liam.
You're listening to the Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.